In Chicago, rib tips are so popular, they're the same price per pound as a full slab of ribs. So let's do a detailed tutorial on smoking with your Kettle grill and the 2-2-1 method for smoking rib tips. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to set the bottom vents of the Kettle grill onto where we can barely see any gaps in the vent. And the second thing that I like to do is take the bottom grate and cover about 3/4 of it with aluminum foil. And this, especially in the wintertime, encourages more temperature control. And finally, we're going to organize our charcoal in what we call the snake method. And what that does is you lay a fuse of charcoal. Be sure it's not the match light or fast light charcoal, but just plain charcoal in a fuse, and then we're going to light a little bit of charcoal, about 1/4 of the chimney, and then just lay it in one side, and then over the course of a couple hours the fire will just slowly burn across the fuse. Now while that's lighting up, we're going to take 2 blocks of pecan and lay it on top of the charcoal on one side. And then we're going to take 2 rib tips and we're going to rub it with some mustard and some rub. Here I'm using some store-bought rub because when you become known as the guy who smoked things, people just buy you seasoning. That's essentially how it works out. And now that the charcoal has all caught, you don't have to wait until all of it is all ashen. That's waiting too long. You can just lay it down on one side, and then we're going to lay a drip pan, and I'm going to pour in some boiling water. This, especially when it's below freezing outside, helps maintain the temperature a little bit better in the Kettle grill. And now we drop our top grate and we are going to cover and let that preheat for about 15 minutes. Now if you're like me and you almost never clean your grates right after you cooked, then now it's the time. Now that the grates are heated up, now is the time to scrape everything off. Now everything's good to go. We are going to lay the rib tips over the drip pan, and then we are going to cover, and we're going to use a probe thermometer where we're going to stick the probe through the top vents to monitor the heat. So now it's a good time to talk about the 2-2-1 method, and this is a popular method for cooking baby back ribs, but I found this pretty good for rib tips as well. And so 2-2-1 method means spend 2 hours smoking, 2 hours roasting while wrapped, and then a final hour to roast it on high. And this allows you to very, very consistently be done with your ribs in 5 hours. If you, like me, just let it roast until you poke it and it feels done, then it can take anywhere from 4.5 to 6 hours. But not gonna lie, just take a look at this. This is why I'm team no wrap. So after about 2 hours of smoking, we're going to take the rib tips and wrap it tightly in aluminum foil. And what this does is it encourages the moisture from the pork to effectively braise the pork, and through the magic of science, consistently cook it to doneness at 2 hours. So after another 2 hours of roasting wrapped at about 275 degrees, now we're going to open the vents some more and unwrap our tips. We're going to save some of that liquid and then drop it back in the hot kettle for another hour to let the crust build back up again. And after one final hour, you pull it, let it rest for about 10 minutes, and then chop. And we're going to toss it in with the braising liquid mixed with 1 part Frank's Red Hot, 1 part Sweet Baby Ray's. And that's my version of mild sauce. And I'm leaving this on a bed of rice, and I hope you found this useful, and we'll take that jump into smoking in your Kettle grill. See you around.